Yo, what's good, dev guys? Welcome to part one of this tutorial series. We are inside the Substance Painter. This is the Steam edition that I was able to buy for $98.99. Go ahead, take advantage of that sale, man. If you're watching this video before July 8th, I'm telling you, it's a lick. You dig what I'm saying? You getting that shit for the low. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started, man. You will find a link to this starter file inside of the description. It'll be a Google Drive link, so you can follow along with me exactly and use the same file that I'm using. That way we can have the same understanding. And I will be renaming some of these layers just to make them easier to follow with. So the way that this works is that we're going to create some custom channels that we're going to export in a packed map. In a packed map, if you know anything about Substance Painter, if you export textures, uh, if you go and export as a Unreal Engine 4 packed, you can see a packed map is basically they pack your roughness, your occlusion, and your metallic in one map. So it saves on texture space and memory as well. And so we're going to create a mask that is packed into one of those same textures. And the way to do that is to create some user channels. So come over here to your texture set settings, wherever it is on your layout, and you want to add a user channel, and we're going to add user channel 0. And the way that I'm deciding this is I've already made this texture the way I want it to look, and I know I want to have the ability to edit this metal right here. I want to be able to edit this metal that I see right here, this black metal that I see right here. I want to be able to edit this grip as I see fit. And I want to be able to edit this emissive light as I see fit. So we're going to create 4 user channels for those separate materials. So go ahead, call this shiny metal, and we'll create another user channel that is user channel 1, and we're going to create this call this dark metal, and then we'll go ahead and add another user channel 2, and we'll call this the grip, and then one more for the light, call this light. And now that we have those 4 channels, we're able to use them inside of our layers here. So click on your topmost layer, go ahead, add a fill layer, and we want to go ahead and just add a black mask right off the bat, because the way that this is going to work, we're going to mask off the materials that we want to be able to edit. So we need to do that with a mask. Another thing we need to do is go ahead, alt click on this shiny button here, because we only want this to affect the shiny channel that we created. So you can see this is what it looks like. It's completely blank. So let me go back to material. Oh, that's metallic. Let me go back to material. And what I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn off every layer except for the shiny metal layer. And that is all of that. And I'm gonna name this shiny metal mask. Naming doesn't matter. I just like to stay organized, and it makes things better in the long run when you got 1,000 fucking layers in here. So for our black mask, we want to go ahead and go to our polygon fill, and we want to go ahead and select our mesh fill. And the thing that I did with this mesh is everything is a separate mesh, but it's all combined as one, so that it's only one material, but inside of Substance Painter you're able to use the object um, occlusion to mask off things. So use the mesh fill, go ahead, click on all of the meshes that have that metallic material, and to double check we can left click, alt left click on the mask right here, and you can see where it's white, you want the same thing to be gray here. So we're pretty much good there. And then we're going to create another layer for our, let's go ahead and do the grip because it's easy. Add a black mask, and then go back to the material here or the fill layer and alt click on the grips. That's all we want. And then inside of the mask, we want to just go ahead and select this. This is one mesh. This will give us the most trouble other than the emissive when it comes to making our selections, but it's pretty easy to get over. So yeah, go ahead and select this right here just to double check that we got it. Alt left click on the mask and you can see we masked out this grip here. And the way masks work is black hides, white shows. So just, just a little knowledge there if you didn't know that. So press M, go back to material, or you can go here, go to material. This is not a beginner tutorial for people who don't know anything about Substance Painter. The way I'm going to be moving through this is as if you know about Substance Painter, you just didn't know about this feature, okay? So if you need some beginner tutorials, Substance has a great series that I follow more than once to learn about everything that you can do inside of Substance. So let's make another fill layer. We're going to call this our dark metal mask. And I need to rename this to grip mask. Keep that consistent. Go ahead, add a black mask and go here to the layer and alt click on the dark metal button. And then we want to select everything that is dark metal. And I haven't been keeping this true with y'all. So just so you can see what's dark metal, just turn on the dark metal layer and turn off everything else. And go ahead and select all of the meshes that coincide with it, dark metal. But you can see we have an issue here. I also forgot a piece here. We actually, we don't want this to be part of our dark metal mask because it'll mess up our emissive thing that we got going here. So go here into the mask, and I will probably fast forward through this because it is a little bit of a tedious work. Going to the mask, I'm gonna just go to the mask and I'm gonna mask out that these triangles that are part of the emissive, which is basically just this circular face here. So go to triangle fill and then go ahead and do what you gotta do here. All right, and I think we're good. I had symmetry turned on. If I can find it, I had symmetry turned on, and this is symmetrical on the z-axis. That's just how I made it inside of Houdini. I probably could have done that better. But yeah, just speed up the selection. I had it on mirror, and now you see our mask is exactly how we want it. So if I go back to material, we're looking good there. So we need one more, and that is for our actual emissive. And we're gonna add that black mask. Go ahead and select our light button here for the channel we want to edit. And to save some time, I'm gonna go to where I actually have that emissive mask already set up. And I'm gonna copy this mask because I don't feel like selecting like that again. And I'm gonna paste the mask into here. Now I'm just left click and just I'm gonna make some edits here just to clean it up a bit. So you don't have to do this, but I noticed that these are messed up here, so go ahead and fix them. And I think the rest of that'll be fine. We can actually black out this entire. Let's black out this entire mesh right here. Yeah. And that's our emissive channel right there. Okay. So now we have all the materials mashed out. The next thing we want to do is to ensure that we get all of the details that we work so hard to create. the thing about masks is that if I go to this, let's just go to this shiny metal mask and look at the difference. You can see that this is completely white. So what that means is that whatever we color change inside of Unreal will show completely on this. But you can see, we go to our material, we have these little edge details, we got a little wear and tear all around, got some dust and grime. We want all those details to come through, because if I go to my project in Unreal, uh, if I didn't have that masked out, you wouldn't be able to see those details inside of Unreal. So what we need to do is a feature that is right now only you can only do this inside of Substance Painter. Quixel Mixer has something like this, but it's a little bit different. It doesn't actually have a name for it, it just does it. But it's a feature called anchor points. And the way anchor points work, and I can use a whole another video to explain anchor points and their usefulness. But basically what they are, in short, is a point inside of the material that you want to reference somewhere else. So for my shiny metal, I made this edge, and I'm gonna call this edges. I made this variation of the same gunmetal texture material, and I just changed the color. You see this is gray and this is a little bit closer to white, and this is just using a generator that's doing metal edge wear. It says outdated, so I guess I gotta update that. What's the new one? Who cares? But yeah, it's using the metal edge wear generator, and if I alt left click, you can see this is the mask that is generating those that variation in my texture. We want this mask, the white, we want it to actually be masked out. We don't want these parts to show inside of our custom mask, because we want to only adjust the metal part. We don't want to adjust the edges. We want to keep those edges. So what we got to do is click on this mask here and go to this I don't know what this is called, but you need to add an anchor point, and we're just going to call this it named it for me, edges mask. That's fine. So anchor points need to be below the layer that is using them as a reference. So if I had this shiny metal mask underneath here, underneath this shiny metal layer, or where I have the edges, you wouldn't be able to see the effect that the anchor point gives you. So in order to use the anchor point, we need to go ahead and add a fill layer to our mask. And if you know anything about Substance, you know fill layers, you can bring in a procedural dirt mask and add variation like that. Like if I look at the mask now, you can see it's got this variation here, but we don't want to do that. We want to bring in a anchor point, and we want to reference our edges mask. And now you can see it's brought in the same mask that is here. If you look at here, these masks are the same now, but we want to mask this layer out of our already existing mask here. We don't want to override it. So what we need to do is, first of all, invert this so that everything that's showing is now hidden. And then we need to set this layer to multiply. And I could do another video going into the layers and how these I forget what they're called, how these adjustment layers, what are these called? The layer modifiers, or the layer blending modes, that's what they're called. And you want to set this layer to multiply. Let's set it to normal. And you want to set this layer to multiply. Now I can do an entirely new video on how these layer blending modes work and how it's kind of like a mathematical equation. But to be simple and short here, basically we're multiplying this fill against this fill. So you know math, 0 and 1 are the numbers we're using. If you multiply 0 times anything, you get 0. And 0 equates to black inside of this software. 1 equates to white. You multiply 1 times 1, you get white. You multiply 1 times 0, you get black. You multiply 0 times 0, you get black. So if you look at our mask, we have black everywhere but where we are already masked out the texture. And then if we look at this on normal, we have black only in some places where we want to mask out the edges and the edgeware that we put. So when we multiply this, it'll multiply our already black versus this white, and that'll set it to black. And we'll be able to keep those black spots. And it's hard to explain this without sounding like I'm dumb, but I understand it. You know what I'm saying? So just set this layer to multiply and you'll get this effect here. And we need to go ahead and do this for every layer that has details like that. And you can see our dark metal has edge wear as well. And it's the same thing with our grip. It has like this, if I go and turn it off, it has like this metal highlight that I added to like show that the grip has a little bit of usage on it. So we need to mask that out of our already existing mask. And I'll do the grip because it is the hardest one. So bear with me. Let's go down to our grip layer here. And we want to go to our grip texture. And we want to add a mask. Where is it? Is this it? No, that's not it. We want to add a mask right here. Metal highlights. This is what I used to mask out the parts that I wanted to stay metal inside of the grip. So we want to add an anchor point right here, and let's just call this grip edges, so that when we add the anchor point, it'll already add that name. So now we added an anchor point to this mask. Now we can go up to our grip mask and add another fill layer, and then go ahead and reference that anchor point. This is why you want to name the anchor points, so that you can easily access them. Now if we click on this layer, you can see it's brought in that same mask. If we want to do the same iterations of mathematical equations, we want to invert this, because we want to hide the things that were white. And then we want to set this to multiply. So now you see we're going to mask out of this texture the little metallic highlights. But there's also something that I did which was kind of hand painted. I made this like a regular shiny metal. So we need to get this mask that I created as well and add it on top of these masks. So the setup for that is kind of extensive, and this really encourages me to better separate my my objects. I would, if I could go back, I'd make this two objects instead of one, so that it'd be a little bit easier. But for now, we'll just go to our grip, and it's actually this black metal here. This has the mask that masks out this part and keeps this part. Now we need to edit this mask because it's a little messed up, because it only masks out this. And if I show you, like, okay, let me just show you why we want to do this. So let's add that anchor point. God damn it, I forgot to rename it. This is the grip metal. And name this grip metal mask. And let's go up to our grip mask, and we want to add another fill layer. And then we want to bring in that anchor point for the grip metal mask. So if we look at this, you can see now our grip mask masks out the grip and keeps all of this. And that's because we brought in this, well, let me set it to multiply, and let me invert it as well. And you can see now it kind of is redundant. It didn't keep this this part that we want here. So let me add this to linear dodge. And what is the blending mode for this? Overlay? Screen? Nope. Let's just put it on multiply for now. And maybe we won't invert it. And okay, yeah. So now we need to set this to linear dodge so it adds. This is the problem that I want to show you. So I told you to invert it. So actually don't invert it. Let's just redo that so I can show you the steps again. So let's relook at this mask. Now we're gonna add that fill layer again. Let's bring in a reference to that anchor point, the grip metal mask. And we want to set it to linear dodge because we want to add this mask on top of this mask. And you see that it keeps everything else. You know what I'm saying? So we want to go ahead and go to our grip metal, and we want to edit this mask to go ahead and mask out all of these other parts that we don't need inside of our grip. So turn it to black. Oops. Turn it to black, press X, and then just on your mesh select, just select everything except for the grip metal. Whoops. Yeah, so that is the mask we want. So let's see if that gives us what we need here. And that is exactly what we need. So now we have this texture kind of showing through here, and then we have that grip metal. It's all white, which is basically what it is. It's just, it doesn't have any variations in the material. It's just kind of like a dirt channel that's on there. So we got that. We got our grip set up. Now let's move on to the dark metal. And same workflow. The black metal is where we added the edge wear. So I'm gonna call this the dark metal edges, and go ahead and add that anchor point. And now we go here, we can add the fill layer, get a reference to that anchor point, the dark metal edges. And this one we want to multiply, and let's alt click on this to see the mask. We want to multiply it and invert it. And also go to the fill layer, the mask. I don't know why it's, hold on. Go to the, where is that color at? Something is happening here. The channel we want to reference. Oh, wait, okay. Something happened. So delete that fill. I did something wrong. So I put the anchor point on the layer instead of the mask. So let's go here and add the anchor point to the mask. That's why that color was all messed up. So go back to the dark metal, add the fill layer, and then set this to multiply. And we want to get a reference to that anchor point, dark metal's edges mask, keep alpha, and we want to invert it. So if we look at it, it masks out the edge wear that we created in our texture so that we get those details inside of Unreal. And that looks good. For the emissive, we don't need to do anything like that. The emissive is just a mask, basically. Doesn't have any details. So we're pretty much ready to set up the export channel, uh, like the export channel preset, and get these exported to Unreal. So go ahead, close all your layers down. And I actually missed one step. So if you go to material, we want to flatten out all of these colors, because when we export these textures, it's still going to export the base albedo map. So we want these colors to be somewhat white or light gray, so that we don't multiply our custom colors on top of an existing color. So we need to go inside of each layer. Shiny metal is fine. It's already a base gray. But we need to go into black metal, and we need to go ahead and change this color to let's create like a mid gray, because we do want this color to be darker than this color off the bat. And then at the same time, we go to our grip and adjust the color on that. And let's just copy the same color from this black metal. And let me, is this the color that I adjusted? Yeah, so go in here, let's copy this hex value. We can keep this the same, or you can change it to like a light gray, just to have it flat. I had it kind of gold, but you can do whatever you want. So go to the grip and then change this color to that hex value we just copied. And that is fine. So now that is a flat color, and then we need to go to our grip metal and do the same thing with the gunmetal dark. Change it to that flat gray color. And now when we export this albedo map, it won't really it won't make the colors weird, basically. So let's set up the export configuration here. So go to export textures, file, export textures. And we want to go to output templates. And for this, I already have a custom one, but I'll show you how to make a new one. So just right click on this and duplicate and rename this. I'm gonna rename this to color map pack. And I'm gonna keep copy on the end of that so I can remember to delete it. So now we wanna go into here and we wanna adjust some things. First of all, we wanna get rid of this emissive channel. We don't need it. Then we wanna add a R plus G plus B plus A. And this will allow us to drag in our custom channels and pack them into these different red, green, and blue channels here. So I'm gonna take user 0 and put it in here, and you want to get the alpha from the channel. You want to make sure you're getting the alpha from the custom channel. So user 0 in R, user 1 in G, user 2 in B, and then user 3 in A. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my naming convention from here. I basically just copied this naming convention. It basically is like a short handle. It'll fill these with the names that you provided. Like, since this is called default material, this will be called default material. So let me just go here, copy this, and paste it in here. If you want to do this yourself, you can just copy this. I copied the fucking emissive. Jesus Christ. Right here. This is the one I want. Color mask. You can do this yourself. You can just copy this one and then replace texture set underscore normal with texture set underscore color mask, and leave everything else the same. And then from there, you want to go back to settings, and everything here is up to you. I got my texture set at 2048, PNG 8 bits, basic default settings here. But make sure you change this to the custom one that you made. So mine is called, my actual custom one is called Color Mask Packed. And this will make sure you export that new texture that we just created. So make sure you select the output template as the Unreal Engine 4 Color Mask Packed. So now you can go ahead and export that already. Well, let me go ahead and export it. I'll just re-import these textures to Unreal Engine in the next video. So with these exported, just I'll go ahead and save my settings, but make sure you have a directory that is very recognizable. For me, this is where all of the information for this pistol is located. The textures, the geometry, everything is located in this directory, in the CXAS. Everything is here. So go ahead, after you export it, go ahead, queue up Unreal Engine, and I'll show you guys how to get everything set up in there. See you in the next one. Peace.